Hello YouTubers, welcome back to another Dot Twice to 10 YouTube video, and today we're going to be taking a look at the Universal Props Series 4 Tennant Screwdriver Prop Replica. So this is made by Universal Props, who is known well on Instagram and via his Etsy store, so I'd recommend you go check it out. Now, it's not the first time I bought from Universal Props. I did buy the Aztec Universal Props Sonic. I've got it with me for comparisons, such as the TWC by the One Company. So we'll take a look at the similarities and differences with the screwdriver. Well, first things first, the screwdriver, please excuse my hands, I've had a rough few days. So the screwdriver is mainly made of aluminium and 3D printed parts. And as you can tell immediately at the back, some of the blue's bleeding around from the actual paint, because it is 3D printed body, and there's grub screw holes there, but there's no screws, so I'm going to have to source some out for that. The slider plate is also 3D printed with a fake button. If you was wondering if it's going to have electronics or accessibility to make up electronics, then I'm sorry that this screwdriver is not going to be able to do that. So I'm going to zoom in on the crackle for you. There you go. And what a nice crackle pattern that is. It's so tight, it's clean, and it's got a bit of a blue tint, a bit like the Rubto Replicas Series 4 Tennant prop. We've got the blue setting strip there, used for the settings. On the back you can see where some of the 3D printed body has shown through a tiny bit, but that's because the paint wasn't applied equally. And of course the end cap itself is 3D printed, which doesn't look too bad. Obviously there's a seam line there, but actually I don't mind the bottom being 3D printed because it resembles what it's supposed to be. So that's something. But it is glued to the metal, and of course the glue residue has fused onto the metal there. And of course up here you've got the brass inlay there, which is painted to look like brass, but it's only 3D printed. And of course you can slide the screwdriver up, which looks beautiful when extended. You've got the clear channel right there, the yellow twisted wire, but it is not as top-notch twisted as you can see there, so mine's got a bit of a gap there, and it's the straightest wire twist I've got in my replica screwdriver collection, out of the Tennant stuff anyways. The ball section up there, the neck, is done up like how it was on the 3D prints, so that's something. And in fact we'll do a comparison soon as well. And of course you've got the emitter head, which the cage bits are a lot wider and flatter, and the windows are a little bit more open, boxy, which is the same dimensions as I believe as the Aztec Sonic. Obviously the head doesn't line up with the one of the silver side sections do not line up with the slide and the blue setting strip. Instead it's laid out in the way it is on the One Company, which we'll show you here. Again, excuse my hands, I've been having a rough few days, so bear with me. So yeah, compared weights, this is actually quite hefty for what it is. Yeah, it's 3D printed body with slider plate and end cap, and some sort of rubberized emitter, but everything else metal, plus the acrylic rod and wire twists is metal. And considering there's nothing inside there, you can probably tell, it's got some good weight to it, and it makes that beautiful rattle, which the Sonic would always do when the Doctor's carrying it around in his pocket. And the teeth do line up quite well, sort of. As you can see on mine, they are slightly open, but there's not a big issue. You know, it's hard to tell. I do like how the emitter and the screwdriver's being constructed. And of course, comparing it to the One Company, which I've repaired, and obviously the channel came frosty from all the gluing. And also the yellow wire twist isn't as straight as it used to be either. And of course, over the time using this, the crackle effect pattern has rubbed off over time, which is slightly upsetting. But this was like my main Tennant screwdriver I use for cosplaying, so I'll have another one for cosplaying as well. And it's got that satisfying clack noise to it. This one doesn't have that, apart from that bit there. Whereas this one, it feels like the actual prop in some ways. And you look at it and it looks like it's melted through your screens. And Universal Props has done a bang up job on this for a cheap replica, which was only 125 quid off Etsy. So if you want to have a look, check out his Etsy store and his Instagram. And of course, comparing it with a different screwdriver, the Aztec, which has sadly has come apart. I'm trying to order up a new acrylic rod so I can fix the screwdriver. And in there you can see where the acrylic rod's just rolled onto the floor, lovely, where the base is in there. And the acrylic rod and the inside base was taped together, and it wasn't as well. And now the rubber O-ring's dislodged. So I've got a bit of TLC to do, but I'm just going to close the screwdriver as best as I can. And again, this is all just a 3D print, and I did give it a silver chrome finish, but it's obviously rubbed off in places, especially there on the back. Mostly, you know, you can tell I've done the silver chrome on there, and it's a lot brighter there because that part never barely gets touched. And again, there's no grub screws there, but the size comparison, they're all identical in size. So I'm just gonna stand these up for you, and you can tell, you know, which one's which. So yeah. But I will do an update video when this is repaired, and I'll go through the step-by-step guide of what I did. But for now, it sits in my drawer until it gets repaired, because I'm a little bit disappointed, because I did pay 50 quid for this, and sometimes I feel to myself, did I waste money on a bit of 3D printed plastic? Whereas, I asked myself, is it worth paying 125 quid for a prop replica, even though there's no electronics? Yes, there is. I quite enjoy this, and it surprised me. At first, I wasn't too sure, but since I've had it for a few hours, I absolutely love this screwdriver, and I like the fact it's nice and shiny, because this one never really is, even though I've tried polishing it. But at the end of the day, it's a beautiful replica. The both are, including the Aztec Sonic screwdriver. And I did mention earlier, it does have a blue display base, which is just a plinth, a bit like the Millennium FX, but instead of acrylic, it's 3D printed, bit of blue plastic. I actually used the one that Universal Props originally made up with for my One Company screwdriver, because it makes it look superficial. I will be making a display stand for my Aztec. This one is for the new replica that I got, and it holds it better than it holds the TWC. So yeah. So anyways guys, thank you so much for watching. Please leave a like and of course subscribe. I'll see you guys in the next video. Until then, Alonzo.